Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Japan, where things are going pretty damn well, actually. We've got our nice little bit of a siege going on in Agra here. We should be able to take the city this turn. Ooh, not quite, actually, and I don't want to take... I could take a little risk. Risk it for a biscuit. We'll take a little bit of extra damage on this guy. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Ooh, Jabalpur does not have walls yet. Let's go ahead and start hitting that city real quick. If we can blast that out of the water, we might be able to take two cities in a single turn. I cannot believe this city survived. 2 health. Absolutely disgusting. What an absolute steal. Niter boosted. There we go. 3 food, 3 production. We'll go to the next turn. And Bob's your uncle. Does anyone actually have an uncle called Bob? What the hell does that mean? How many people had uncles named Bob? Why was that a saying? Why did it matter if your uncle was Bob? This makes no sense to me. Listen, the machinations of the world are difficult to decipher. Ooh, that's a really good trade route there. 24 gold. Now, I am trading with the Inca, who does hate my guts, but still. Oh, Nan Madol is available. It's a free city. 11 turns, it flips. So all I have to do is refuse the free city, and then I can go ahead and take my time to liberate it. And I will go ahead and do that once I'm done with India, because the amount of culture that this represents is probably like 100 culture per turn if I do it. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and build a dam to prevent any floods over here. And in the city of Osaka, I can't actually do this, but I can do this. And then if I place the dam... we can lock in the price of the dam. Unfortunately, I can't place my industrial zone until I do finish a aqueduct. It's a kind of forced order when it comes to certain things here. I never did get a granary in my capital. I might just buy that to allow the city to grow a little bit. If we're taking a look at the city of Takamatsu, I could make use of a university. However, I want the gold in here. I really want to make as much gold as possible in that city. So looking at the city of Nagano, we're kind of in similar-ish positions. We can safely place this campus, however. And we could also go for a dam in here and then an eventual industrial zone. That's a pretty good industrial zone right there. It should be like a +6 industrial zone. Yeah, +8, even better. That's amazing. So we're looking at some good numbers. Let's see, Nagano, I think what I do here is I buy the lighthouse and then I buy the shipyard for 8 production per turn. This turns this into a real city. And then we can go for the monument, the granary, the watermill, and then the campus. And we just boop, 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 boop. We knock all these out. Unfortunately, the city of Agra does not have a harbour. So we'll have to go for granary, watermill to get that city growing. It'll take a while. Ideally, I would maybe buy those with gold. And in fact, these buildings are so cheap. And the growth is so important that I may actually buy them with gold. And instead... you'll work on a monument, which is less time important. So I have to kill this unit, bring the admiral down, scooch these units around, and then slam into the cities. Perfect. Chennai is falling as well. The loyalty in here must be becoming problematic for my enemies. All right, let's double attack Chennai. Boom. That's all of the cities done for. We're waiting just a couple turns. The battering ram arrives next turn. There's no point in attacking the city right now, but there will be in the near future. Unfortunately, I can't get units. I wish I could use Preslav as like a canal, but I can't. If I could get a caravel in here, it would actually be quite nice to have another unit supporting the attack. Unfortunately, that is not possible, so we have to make do. These are pretty terrible cities, in all honesty with you, but they're free cities. That's the important thing, is these cities cost me very little to actually take myself. That is the critical piece of information. I'm really glad to be getting builders out now. It's like so nice to see my cities really developing. Moment of truth for Mumbai. There's the first attack. There's the second attack. And there's the third attack. So we might lose a samurai here. I'm okay with losing a samurai. If I'm trading a samurai for a city, I think that's a good trade on my end. So India is begging me for peace, but I can't take peace with them until I take their capital because I don't have positive loyalty in the area. One of my units was captured by a barb. Ah, you dirty fecker, you. Right, let me buy a caravel. I have just enough gold to contest this. You prick. He's probably going to pillage my trade routes too. Where did this even come from? Here. It came all the way from down here to attack me. Right, we'll have to clear up these barbs down here and settle a couple cities just to claim this land and keep it from being a problem. We do have a triple promoted swordsman now. So he has urban warfare, which is a big boost because he is fighting inside a city, I believe. So we want to crack the walls. We want to be ready for our next move. Next turn, there's going to be a big push for that city. Now that the walls are down, it'll make our life a little bit easier. I definitely want melee units to get production boost. If melee units were stronger, that would be ideal for me because I have a lot of melee units. But probably ranged or something will get boosted. Units are cheaper with gold and melee are better. I mean, cheaper gold units also kind of works for me. Okay, the city of Mumbai is... look at that, Caravel. I do have to be careful though, because if the Caravel takes the city and I don't, that's not good. Actually, that's what's going to happen here. Feck. No! No! I did too much. I messed up this turn. I would have been able to take the city this turn, but I kind of messed up my movement slightly. Now the AI is going to kill it. Would they really kill the city? I'm curious. If the AI kills the city-state. Oh, a free settler, yoink. Thanks. Oh, of course, you sent that builder straight into Bandar Brunei. Wow. If the city-state kills him, I don't get the grievances, do I? So what do I lose? I lose it. I mean, the city isn't very good anyway. So does it actually matter? Okay, they chose not to attack, which... honestly, I'm pretty happy about. So now I can just take the city. Perfect. So India is dead. Now, the downside of that is that everyone on the map will get a bunch of grievances against me. Or it should trigger like in the next turn or something. But we will go ahead and keep that city. And yeah, we have that city now. We have 16 turns until we can get peace with or go to war with Babylon. And we have to think about what's our next step here. It could be that we just go for the easy kills. Like, you know... the Inca, like this capital city here is just like really going to be difficult to take. So maybe instead we go for the Maori, right? We've got Babylon here. We've got Byzantium. We've got Greece. We could easily take out Coupe, and then that would give us a foothold on this island to stage an attack against Byzantium. Byzantium is relatively strong, and I don't see a way to get to Mansa Musa, who I would consider to be one of the weaker civs right now, but he does get double unit purchasing right now, so that's a little bit of a problem. I think with the amount of land that I've captured, it might be worth it now to do like a little bit of an expansion phase, because there's an island over here. It is a tundra island, which kind of sucks, but there are islands I could pick up. And they would take a very long time to pay themselves off. But I mean, that's not necessarily an argument against that's not necessarily like saying I shouldn't do it at all. That just means it'll take a while to pay off. Yeah, because like I could grab a few cities around here. There's like a few coastal cities. There's like a coastal city over here, maybe 2 coastal cities. There's like a couple of coastal cities down here. And if I did all that, by the time I get all that done, we should be heading into flight. Or I can just power economically. Like I can just build markets, I can build universities, I can continue to develop my economy, all of which are totally valid for me to do as well. No good adjacency in here, sadly. Now it's okay if I inherit a district with reasonably low adjacency. I just can't build one myself. So we'll soon have 2 frigates to bring down Nan Madol. I also do have a privateer, that'll come in handy. The land quality down here is quite low, but there is access to 2 extra salts. But I mean, I did get the settler for free, so I may as well. Yeah, look at that. They gave my builder away to the city-state. Incredibly frustrating. Mostly I just need to pop a city down here so I can get rid of some barb camps down here more easily. Actually, do you know who's wide open for an attack? Gorgo looks to have a very coastal empire. And I do, yeah, maybe I'll chain this attack into Gorgo. This gets me established on the eastern half of this empire, and then we can make our way up towards Mali. I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start moving my boats in that way. Go ahead and chop here. Mausoleum in 2 turns. Very happy with that. Samurai are getting a little bit long in the tooth. Technologically, I might have to think about, do I want to upgrade to musketmen? It's a 7 combat strength upgrade. Maybe I want to wait for nationalism. I don't know, but I do think Greece is our next target. There's the +3 harbour right there. Let's go ahead and get it. Finally. Feels good to finally place a +3 harbour. Harbour completed in Tokyo. Let's go ahead and buy the lighthouse. We'll hard build the granary. And then we need to get a bit more cash if we can. What can we sell? Well, I probably need to keep my niter for upgrades. But I can take a little bit of cash in because I'm about to be able to do frigate upgrades, so I need to save that niter. I'm getting 6 per turn. I can probably sell like this much pretty comfortably. So I just need a little bit more gold to buy the shipyard in here. And I basically want to be able to buy shipyards the turn they become available. That's like the ideal scenario, which is quite tough because that's a very gold intensive operation. You know, it takes a lot of money to do that. Lovely. There's the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. We also now have diplomatic service, giving us access to spies as well as some good new cards. More importantly, though, we have achieved a Mausoleum thumbnail, boys and girls. Check it out. It's been a while. It has been a while since we've seen one of these. Would I like to go for the Colossus? +1 trade route is quite good. Yeah, let's go for Colossus. Feck it. Let's do it. Why not? Let's make our way towards nationalism. That's going to be a key part of the next phase of the game for me. Your mom is normal. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do. We're moving units. I'll do a little bit of coastal scouting on the Greeks before we decide to attack. Do I want to go for... Now, do you know what? Now, the problem we have here is we don't have a foothold on this continent. And in order to make the air strategy work, I need a foothold. So I think I'm going to go square rigging into musketmen. No. It's going to depend on scouting what I do. What I do will depend upon scouting. Now, here's the question. Do I delay square rigging in favour of grabbing myself a few more quads? This is the cheapest getting access to frigates will ever be. I have the cash to buy a couple of extra quads, so I will. See if I can sell anything useful. No. 3 frigates, is that enough? It's probably enough. Right. Frigate 1 is a go. We just have to refuse the city of Nan Madol and get a caravel over here. Where's my nearest caravel? You, sir, need to make your way over there. Now, I'd wanted to settle here, but unfortunately there's a slinger there. However, one thing to note, we're going to make a little bit of a gamble here. This slinger has the builder in formation. So theoretically, it can't actually capture my settler here if I go for it. Let's get to work on industrialization. It would be nice to get our factories up. Our factories are quite powerful. It's a +8 production boost across every city that's in range of this. And I think I built this industrial zone in a fairly good overlap point. It's not quite 7 or 6 cities overlap, but that's a 5 city overlap. 1 tile to the right, it would have been a few more. But yeah, that should be fine because this city will capture any of the other ones. Grabbed ourselves a granary in Tokyo. We have a fully built shipyard. The city is churning away at maximum productivity. It's missing a fishing boat. It could make use of a builder. And we could also make use of some traders. I'm a little bit behind on trading right now. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start a little bit of trading to increase our cash flow. We're going to chop here to speed up the Colossus just a smidge. We may as well chop. We have Magnus in the city. It's the best place to do it. So this is where we do an experiment here. Is the AI smart enough to stop escorting this builder to capture my settler? This is going to be an extremely risky test. I mean, the settler was free, so I don't care. And the city isn't important. This is just like free info on how the AI works. Like how the Barb AI works. Like, is it smart enough to unescort that builder to try and capture it? Haha, he's not smart enough. Haha, I win. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Get obliterated. Get absolutely destroyed. Oh, I misclicked. Fuck, I clicked keep, not refuse. God damn it. Hold on. What an absolute dumbass. Is this like, autopilot? Yeah, I want to keep this city. This is my city. Oh, it wasn't like part of my plan to liberate Nan Madol this entire time. No, sir. I didn't trade the city away to Coupe specifically for the purpose of getting it to flip independent so that I could liberate it. This time we're going to refuse the city. It will flip independent and then we obliterate. I moved the caravel the wrong way. Chariot. Well, I'm just going to have to wait a couple turns because I accidentally moved the caravel that I was bringing down here away. And then we can just kind of repeat some of our moves though. We got the dam and the capital. That's a +8 industrial zone. We'll go ahead and get to work on the workshop. Seems like it would be pretty important. Eventually we would like a commercial hub. There is a +3 one right there, but I don't think I want to build it just yet. Definitely want the harbour. There's a +5 right there. That's a beautiful harbour. We're 1 turn from finishing this harbour in here. Mumbai can build a harbour. Damn. Oh, there's a +3 down here. We will grab that. Necessary. I can't faith purchase walls. It's a slow build walls. Maybe we can get walls out in there. It'll take a while. It'll take a while. It'll take a little time. It'll be fine. So having now scouted Greece's coastline, I think Greece is very, very vulnerable to a frigate and caravel attack, although I might wait for ironclads just because that's like it's a 15 combat strength boost over caravels, and these, like, my caravels right now don't really do a lot to her cities. So if I just swing back with all of my caravels and get ready for a massive ironclads, maybe too, when we liberate Nan Madol, we'll hit nationalism. Maybe we can do ironclad corps or ironclad fleets. That might be the golden ticket to cracking the Greek egg. Let's just go ahead and buy this camp to make sure it goes away. And then I'm going to plonk an archer in this city so it can plink away at my enemies. We chopped out the theatre square in Fukuoka. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We'll grab ourselves a granary. The city is at its growth limit, and then we'll go for the library and amphitheatre to keep the growth in here going. My Pingala was assassinated, and I never even noticed. That's been costing me a lot. However, I think it's time that Pingala got reassigned to Fukuoka. Can't believe I didn't notice that. It happens. I never notice when it happens. So yeah, we're going to put Pingala in Fukuoka because that city is actually going to have decent growth as well as a ton of culture and science, whereas Kyoto doesn't necessarily benefit quite as much. The city just has better culture and science as a baseline, and so we'll get better purchase out of that 15% increase in culture and science. I wonder how long you guys have been screaming at me that my Pingala is unassigned. I just, it's one of those things that the game doesn't really communicate very well to you. Or at the very least, I'm always like busy and I don't notice it. Like busy mentally working on another aspect of my empire. All right, I do like the forest fires in here have caused a little bit of beauty. Or a bit of improvement to the tiles. Well, looking for gold. Man, the trade routes with the Inca are insane, as are the ones with Babylon. These are just so good. Wait a minute. Babylon? Babylon. How is there a Babylon in the game? Shouldn't this be Anshan? Why is it called Babylon? Wait, what is happening? City-state Anshan? It's called Babylon. Wait, I didn't even cop that. Look, Babylon? Babylon. I think there's something weird went on here. Something very odd. Has anyone ever seen anything like that before? That's kind of odd. Right, so the city of Tokyo doesn't have a whole lot of options when it comes to placing districts. Nothing with +3 adjacency, at least. So we may as well build what instead? I don't need extra gold in here. I don't need the commercial hub. If I were to build something like a encampment here, I suppose if I put an encampment here, this would give me an extra +1 adjacency to play with on this tile. And I do build encampments at double speed, and it is good to have like some encampments. You want to get those great generals, especially. I would really like to get a Renaissance great general. If I could, I would probably have to. How many great generals have gone? Here's the question. Not many, actually. I got one of them. Have a little think about this. We're in the Renaissance era, so theoretically, it could be done. Theoretically. I still wish I could put, I wish I could like right click an attribute of a city so that the city would alarm me. Like I wish I could click on Agra and just like right click the population number so the city would like ask me, hey, tell me to do something new when I reach this population number, because I tend to end up with just empires that are so huge, and I play in a way that's kind of haphazard, so I don't really pay attention to every city every single turn. I kind of only I deal with things as they crop up. I put out fires rather than play kind of proactively, which is honestly one of the biggest hurdles I have as a player to my own like skill development, is that I tend to be forgetful. But to be fair, there's a lot of information to keep, and welcome to the liberation of Nan Madol. There we go. And by liberating Nan Madol, we have full control over them, a full 6 envoys. We're getting +2 culture per coastal tile in my empire, and that has bumped us up to a healthy 131 culture. I think we started this term at like 76. 131 culture is really damn good. Now if we pop into the screen, we're looking at what, 1, 4, 9 turns until nationalism. That is really, really respectable, especially because we're similar distance away from getting the ironclad. So the ironclad and then the combinations of units will kind of line up pretty closely. Now, speaking of that, I am going to come in here. I need to make changes to my government. I think I can drop conscription, and instead I'm going to plug in press gangs so that I can build boats a little bit quicker. And I'm going to drop just like 2 caravels in this city, a caravel in this city. In Tokyo, I'll get myself a frigate. in Osaka, I will get... I can't afford another frigate, so I'll just get a caravel. Just see if I can do like a little wave of boats. Machu needs the gold. Maybe I can sell off that 100 Diplo favors for a bit of raw gold. There we go, raw gold, perfect. So now soon I'll be able to buy harbours. Right, now I got to get my fleet moving over here so we can capture Athens and Knossos and boom, 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 knock our way through this. There's quite a few cities in here. Maybe it would be good. Now, everyone is denouncing me because I have a huge amount of grievances for killing a player. I'm pretty sure. Everyone hates me because I'm a murderer, essentially. Actually, maybe only the people that had met the civ that we killed gets grievances. But liberating Nan Madol did make my grievance situation a little bit better, which is quite nice. We got our harbour in Opango, so let's do the purchasing. We'll go for the lighthouse and then the shipyard. That's a +6 shipyard. Big production boost in the city. Look at that. Very happy with that situation. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves another caravel. We just want like a good amount of ships ready to go. I don't have enough gold in my treasury to upgrade this quad, but I will be able to do it next turn. Oh, there's a very nice +5 harbour here in Jabalpur. Thank you. Bandar Brunei. I think I want to put 3 points into Samarkand here. This should boost my gold income. Yep, about 42 gold per turn. Just a nice boost. We have our first workshop in the capital city. We have the dam fully built. Let's just quickly go ahead and crack out that campus real quick. I'm falling behind on my trade routes, so I do need to make sure that I'm building a few. And I'm pretty sure we just burnt the +1 production per city card, which, you know, yeah, sure, that card is gone now, but now we have options. And that card is just, honestly, it's too good to not have plugged in my opinion, because it's just so much production across your empire. Liberalism is honestly not too bad. The amenities could bump me up from some of these displeased cities. I do think amenities is a little bit of a problem for me. I would love to have retainers and liberalism plugged in, but I think I'm going to settle for retainers because this should be a little bit easier to meet, and that should bump a couple cities up from being displeased. Because in theory, I can just buy scouts. I could just buy scouts to occupy every city, and I do have a few units kind of hanging around. So as with everything in Civ and stuff like that, you just don't have the resources to do everything that you want to do, and you do have to kind of pick and choose a little bit judiciously. Golden Age is not in the cards for me unless I can get the electronics factory, which would require me to save gold to purchase it in 3 turns, which means I can't buy scouts, which is annoying. Yeah, well, you know, these are the choices you're kind of forced into. Let's trade with Babylon. Look at these Babylon trade routes. Super good trade. 33 gold each. Do you know, I don't think I need to actually bring my caravels back home to heal. I think I can actually get established by attacking Athens and Knossos pretty easily here using my frigates. The only hard city will be this one that's in the fog of war, but hopefully my samurais with their battering ram might be able to make a difference there. But, you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Santa Cruz, that's a Renaissance era great admiral. I'll take him. What does he do? He forms an armada out of a military unit. That could be handy. What does my current great admiral do? He is a medieval and Renaissance, so he'll fall off the wayside, although he might be worth keeping around. He gives a promotion. Not quite as cool. You know, still pretty okay, but just not as cool. And everyone knows that all great people are remembered for their coolness, not their impact on the world. Why Albert Einstein is remembered because he did that one weird, quirky picture with his tongue sticking out. Is that picture even real? Is that like just like a fake picture? I don't even know. Maybe it's meant to show that he's a bit of a weird guy. Right, I think it's about time we got our industrial zone in here as well. So I'll go for the industrial zone into the dam. Although I might go dam first, just because, you know, the old flooding risk there is quite high. We're definitely in a gold crunch. We're definitely hitting a gold crunch, although we are making 420 gold per turn. Oh, it's the meme number. Oh, God, I love the meme numbers. I think everyone loves a good meme number from time to time. I started watching a guy on YouTube who I think he's called Patrick Boyle, and he's like a finance YouTuber. He's actually like a quantitative an analyst. He's a hedge fund manager essentially, or at least he was. He might be an educator now and like privately running his own investments. But he was a quant basically. He would try to, rather than like use sort of gut feelings or bets or whatever about the market, he would try to analyze patterns in the market and try to make money in that way. That's what quant people in finance do. They try to find either mathematical or behavioral patterns in the market that can be broadly applied and then manipulated to make money without impacting the actual market. So that might be, for example, maybe the spread on a stock is a little bit too big and you can, make a little bit of cash by narrowing the spread in some way. But I started watching him. And, by the way, we have industrialization, so we can start building electronics factories. We also have access to coal. We didn't hit a single copy of coal. We did hit a copy of coal. It's all the way down here. We'll have to worry about that when the time comes. But for now, I have to purchase this electronics factory, and then that will put me over the edge in terms of era score. I need to get a builder down here. You are going to run all the way down to this coal. It'll take you a little while, but I need that coal in order to make ironclad. So I'm kind of glad I didn't hang around and wait for ironclads because I wouldn't have been able to get them. This is a smidge of coal here, a smidge of coal in Bandar Brunei, but I'm not suzerain. Yeah, we got a little bit unlucky with the coal, but a single copy of coal should be enough to sustain a few ironclad armadas once we're established here on this eastern continent. But yeah, I wasn't talking to Patrick Boyle, sorry, I was watching his videos. And I can't remember what it was. It was like some meme stock Elon Musk video or something like that. And I couldn't really tell if he genuinely had like severe disdain for like the meme numbers, like 49 or 69, 420, etc. But he either has like the most incredibly like deadpan, dry humor to where you actually just can't tell, or he really does hate those numbers. But it was quite funny. He's quite an entertaining guy. He does something which I think is very lacking, which is that he just kind of talks about things in a very slow and reasonable manner, and he doesn't take like an incredibly controversial or strong position. He's never trying to be like, this is what you need to do to get your finances in order, and this is how you should analyze this thing. He's just like very matter of fact, which is quite appealing to me. And I feel like he never really says anything things that he says that are opinion are very obvious, whereas a lot of the things that he says that if he's making like a factual claim, he usually has quite a few things that he can like point to and be like, we don't know if this is true because, these pieces of research, etc. Or, we know that this is true because of X, Y, Z. And I actually really like that. I've become a big fan of this kind of, I don't want to call it dry analysis, but it is a little bit dry, where it's just kind of like, well, this is fact. This is the reality, and here's why. This is the way that it is, and we know this because study XYZ using this methodology, blah, 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 blah. And I've become a big fan of that kind of presentation. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what he does. Obviously, he has a bit of opinion and analysis in there himself, but he did use, at least from what I remember, I could be totally misremembering, but he tends to use a lot of like factual examples that are tied to, some sort of statistical or whatever piece of research or something. And I kind of really appreciate that. I think too many people are looking for like bombastic analysis where it's like, this is what you have to do to make $1 million in the stock market before you're 40, etc. And it's like, no, probably not. But he says things that are like really obvious, but that are like very clear pitfalls that people fall into. Whereas like a lot of people think they hear, you have to risk it. You have to high risk, high reward. And what you hear there, like what you hear there is that if I take a big risk, there's actually a really good chance I get a reward. But that's not what's being said. What it's saying is, if you're taking a big risk, you should be expecting a really big reward. And that might sound like a very subtle difference, but it can often mean that people are taking extremely risky investments in things like cryptocurrency, which, Jesus Christ, we all know how that's going right now. I should have denounced her. Can I get a joint war? She needs to be denounced. I forgot to denounce her. Feck. The problem is this grievance gain thing is actually quite bad. How bad would it be for me to wait 5 turns to declare this war? She would earn 250 science, a little bit of money. She'd be better prepared for the war. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Risk it for a biscuit. This is relevant, actually, in terms of risk management. Yeah, but it was just like really interesting and obvious observations that obviously I had been thinking that like, that's risky, so you might get a good payout. But it's kind of like, that's just like the baked in assumption that we've made because so many people see, the obvious thing is like, if you're taking a risk, you should be expecting a big reward. But you just like, sometimes if you don't, if you're not thinking very carefully and clearly, you will start to associate the risk with the reward rather than the other way around, which is how you should be thinking about it. And I say should, but it is how you should be thinking about it. Nice. We've almost taken Athens on the first turn of this war. And I think that's where I'll love you and I'll leave you. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.